Welcome back to Solutions for Your IP. In this video, we shall see how a technical development in the domain of mechanical engineering or the like subjects can be converted into a pattern specification using PATEOMATIC. Let us suppose that the new technical development is a coconut grating tool or a machine to grate coconuts easily without much human effort, or possibly be automated as well to cut, grate or scrap coconuts. Accordingly, we shall see how we can make and convert this particular technical development, that is this new cutting tool for coconuts, into an invention through PATEOMATIC. Now, any invention falls under any of these three basic legal categories, that is a device, a composition or a method. Since we are discussing mechanical inventions here, it is most of the times fall under the legal category of a device. Alright. Any technical development definitely has a pre-existing underlying problem as a reason for the new technical development. Therefore, an invention is always looked at from the perspective of a pre-existing problem. The solution thereof is your invention. In this case, since you developed a new device, the problem you might possibly say is absence of a convenient and safe tool to scrape or grate coconuts without any substantial human effort. Anybody would acknowledge that coconut grating is difficult in terms of holding the coconut, needs application of considerable human strength, takes a lot of time, and the harvest is always untidy. So the problem is now defined. The solution to the said problem is to make an effortless, convenient and safe cutting tool to scrape or grate coconuts. Thus, now we land into our basic definition of our invention. The big question, what did you invent? And the answer to this question has to be provided in terms of the constituent components that comprise your invention. Accordingly, from the device developed by you, which is the invention herein, needs to be defined along with all the constituent parts of the device, with each part accorded a specific functional aspect. The ambit of your invention can also be widened by way of incorporating an automation unit or a remote control enabled for monitoring the device. Interestingly, from the perspective of the problem, even only the new cutting tool without the automation component could also be a patentable invention. But an advanced and a better tool with automation enabled is a step ahead than only the cutting tool alone. Don't you think so? Hence, even if any automation is not presently available, you can do PATEOMATIC now itself without any automation, but only for the new cutting device. Alright, now we shall see how do we define the constituent parts of the device for the purpose of patenting the device. We can see here a cross-sectional view of the device, and each particular part of the device is accordingly numbered. When we talk about drafting a patent specification for mechanical inventions, it is always compulsory that the invention is described with a figure. Accordingly, refer to the cross-sectional view of the device of the present invention. You can see that each part of the device has been assigned a particular number, and there are no written explanations on the figure at all. So, drafting a patent specification in the domain of mechanical inventions requires that the parts of the device be first numbered and then that particular part be named accordingly. We can also explain the function of that particular part along with the name of that particular part. Please refer that the questions as it appears in the PATEOMATIC, wherein first it asks you to provide a number to that particular part and then name that particular part. Accordingly, please refer below how it is appearing in the patent specification with the name and the part accordingly available and explained together. Please note, you are not at all allowed to provide any written explanations on the figure itself. The figure must and should contain only the numbers of the parts. Therefore, please continue to first number the part and then name the part. You will see that the patent specification generated through PATEOMATIC will automatically contain the name of the part along with the number of the part, and the explanation provided with respect to the functional aspect of each of the parts as shown here. The next question is about nature of interaction between the mutual components of the invented device. There must be a synchronization from the perspective of functional aspect of each and all parts of the device. I mean that each part of the device must act in harmony with the other parts of the device for the intended output to be obtained and the device to function properly. Please note the explanation provided in this case. Basically, an electric motor rotates a round blade which is covered by the coconut. That is fixed at the top. The entire device is fixed with the rubber vacuum locking system at the base. The electric motor and the round blade is connected through a flexible rod that penetrates a ball and socket joint in the middle that ensures entire area of the coconut to be grated completely. The grated harvest is collected from the detachable plate placed below the round blades. Further, there is a height adjusting mechanism and also the device is enabled with a Bluetooth or Wi-Fi facility for remote monitoring, perhaps through a mobile application. The next step is to explain the basis of your invention. In this case, reason for which the round blade is enabled to be rotated is due to the nature of the connecting rod, which is actually divided into a lighter rubber rod in the bottom and a heavier steel rod at the top. Due to the difference in weight, the top portion of the rod being heavier than the bottom portion of the rod, it enables rotating motion of the round blade through the entire inner surface of the coconut. Please note that a device to be eligible for patent protection, the component parts of the device, particularly the crucial components and parts of the device, should not be able to act individually. The function of the crucial and essential components and parts of the device should be dependent on other component parts of the device as well. The function of all the component parts of the device should act together and not individually. For example, in this particular device, the round blade at the top, the ball and socket joint in the middle, and the electric motor at the bottom is interconnected with an internal connecting rod. And unless the electric motor is switched on, the ball and socket joint does not act, and therefore the cutting blade at the top is not able to cut coconut as well. Therefore, the crucial component parts of this particular device, that is the round blade at the top, the ball and socket joint in the middle, the electric motor at the bottom, interconnected with a connecting rod, are all interdependent on each other for providing the ultimate output and function of this particular device. This is the most important part to consider to actually examine and analyze whether a particular device is patent eligible or not. And please do not forget to explain this particular action with respect to your device that you are intending to patent. After having defined the invention in terms of its constituent components and its basis and the reason how it works, it is now time to show how did you make your invention and does your invention really works as you claim it to be. This is called a patent enablement. When I say enablement, it means that a potential person who is interested to reproduce your invention should be able to do so without having your individual guidance, provided he has read your patent specification. Thus, enablement is one of the most crucial requirements in a patent specification and also the most important part of PATEOMATIC as well. Therefore, I repeatedly request and urge you to read the slides properly again and again to understand and know the specificity of the answers sought in each of the following questions to describe and fulfill the requirement of patent enablement. Now, we should explain the working of the invention by way of experimental examples. Each working example is performed in comparison with the most recent priorly available coconut cutting tool, that is the prior art figure 3 as shown here. In the first example, we established that the amount of coconut grated for the same amount of time is higher in quantity when grated with the presently invented device in comparison with the device as shown in prior art figure 3. Then, in the next example, we established that grating coconuts is much easier and faster with the present device as compared to the device of prior art figure 3. That is how we establish inventive nature of the device from the most priorly available device through objective comparative data in case of any invention. Thus, enablement is one of the most crucial requirements in a patent specification and also the most important part of PATEOMATIC as well. Therefore, I repeatedly request and urge you to read the slides properly again and again to understand and know the specificity of the answers sought in each of the following questions to describe and fulfill the requirement of patent enablement. Your answer to the questions for describing how did you make your invention demands that all the details to actually perform the steps be provided in as much as details and clarity possible. Please refrain from presuming that the reader will automatically understand whatever you did not mention. Unfortunately, in absence of your detailed working examples with proper explanation to reproduce the invention, the patent examiner may opine that the enablement requirement has not been fulfilled, which may further result in rejection of your patent application. Hence, do not presume that the reader already knows, but definitely mention all necessary and required details to disclose working of your invention. For your convenience, it is also possible to upload the answer to these questions by attaching a single word file wherein you should include all the working examples and then directly upload in PATEOMATIC. I also request you to observe the sequence of working examples and the relevance of each working example to establish that your invention has been made and then also proved to be actually working. Your attention is also sought to the figure numbers so mentioned in the corresponding specific experiments. Please upload the figures provided in the subsequent questions and at the same time do not forget to write in the corresponding working example which particular figure is being discussed. If there are figures applicable for prior arts, please upload them at the right places under the section before your invention and not at the place of figures allotted for describing the invented device. Please have a look at the different prior art figures related to this present invention. As previously mentioned, out of the three most related prior art figures, the prior art figure 3 is the closest to the present invention. At the same time, you would also appreciate that there are considerable differences in the presently invented device in comparison with the prior art figure 3. Therefore, all our working experiments has been done in comparison with prior art figure 3 mentioned earlier. Now we shall discuss about both the sections before and after your invention together. You will need the abstracts of three closest prior art publications to be copied and pasted or summarized by yourself in the appropriate sections. These prior arts will help you determine the problem statements. Please remember that the identification of the problem statements is very crucial for filing a patent application. Unless there is a problem, there is no invention at all. Therefore, a problem statement justifies the necessity of your invention and is very crucial to explain the inventive step of your patent specification. In the context of this invention, the problem statements are: number 1, grating coconuts are very time taking. Number 2, presently available coconut grating tools are not safe and inconvenient to use. Number 3, requirement of substantial human effort, strength and skill to grate coconuts with the coconut grating tools, those are available at present. The corresponding solutions to the above problems are also discussed sequentially. At the end, there are three simple questions relating to the field of your invention, and it is explained how to provide these answers specifically, each in a single phrase or a few words as applicable. Last but not the least, note the conclusion box. Referring back to the constituent components of your invention under the question, what did you invent? all these constituent components must not be disclosed in a single prior publication. At the same time, all these constituent components must not be disclosed in combination of 2 or more prior publications intended for the same purpose. If and only if the answer to both of these questions are no, then only your technical developments is patent eligible. Please provide your true opinion about these 2 questions without worrying much about their answers. We will take care to make your technical developments patent eligible through our legal contributions in due course. Therefore, please do not hesitate to undertake PATEOMATIC for want of future developments or detailed technical experiments pending to be done or contemplated to be done. PATEOMATIC does not cost you any money, so do PATEOMATIC now itself with whatever technical subject matter that you process at present. We will also provide our expert review on your patent specification to make it better and better, generated through PATEOMATIC absolutely for free. But unless you disclose whatever you have done till now, you will only keep pondering without having any output at all. So, right here, right now, think patent, be patient, do PATEOMATIC. Happy patenting!